Hey, welcome back to another Cheyenne and Arapaho Productions podcast coming to you from Concho, America. I am Darren Brown, and I'm joined today by Madelynn Byrd. Hey, how's it going?
Doing good. How are you?
Very well. Thank you so much for being here. So you are, I understand, from Hammon?
Yes.
And let it be known she is wearing socks today. I saw. So we're good there. So, Madelynn, you're a tribal member, right? You told me.
Yes.
And you are a digital artist.
Yep.
Okay, so if someone like me heard that and said, "Well, what exactly does that mean?" What would you say?
What a digital artist
Yes.
is? It's like art, but it's like online, like on your phone, computer, or tablet, just online.
And what kind of stuff do you do? I know there's abstract, there's portrait stuff, there's cartoons, there's ledger art. What do you do?
Sometimes I will do ledger art, cartoons, mainly in like my art style. Just let my mind be free with it, honestly. So
I like that. Let my mind be free. Free your mind, baby.
Right.
And the rest will follow, like the song said, right? That's an old song, never mind. It's from my day. So you you went to Hammon High School?
yes,
All right. What's the mascot there?
a warrior.
Hammon Warriors.
Yeah.
Hey. So did I ask you you're not supposed to ask women how old they are, but you're a very young person, so how old are you?
I'm 19, about to be 20.
Oh man, that's a long time ago for me. But anyway, so I know that before we started here, you showed me some of your ledger art stuff you did, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So and it was great, by the way. Well, if anyone's wondering, it's good stuff. And I know I was asking. I know we have so many artists, fantastic artists here with the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes. And are there some artists that we have here that you look at their work and you kind of study it or maybe try to emulate it?
Mainly for ledger art, I look up to George Levi and BJ Stebb. They're like one of my inspirations of making ledger art, obviously.
What do you like about their work? What is it? I mean, something's got to speak to you about it, right?
They tell a story. It's like very historical how we used to do art back in the day, and it's beautiful, honestly.
I know they use. I've seen a lot of their work, and it's some of it's extremely colorful, man. It's I had a discussion one time with I can't remember who it was now. Another one of our ledger artists here at the tribes, and I was thinking about the paper itself. I'll ask somebody, so where do you get ledger paper? He's like, I got a guy, and I guess this guy like looks all over the country because I said, well, look, there's going to be the supply of actual ledger paper is got to be finite. It's going one of these days it's going to end. I mean, so I'm guessing that's. Think about that for a minute. I mean, you're everybody wants to draw on something from like 1890 something. Someday there won't be any more of that stuff.
Right.
So I guess when you paint on it, you got to make it really good.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
don't want to waste it, right? Well, tell me about if someone asked you, Madelynn, why do you do art? What was it? I take it you played some sports and stuff in high school, right?
Yes.
Activities like what?
I did track, I did cross country, I did softball, I did basketball. They were fun, but I enjoyed more running because it's just like it's like a sport that I was good at.
Yeah, running is not. I mean, if when you're talking about cross country and stuff, you are on a team, but it's very much an individual. I can't speak. It is very much an individual sport.
Right.
Yeah, and when you do that, because I ran, used to, not now, but back in the day, it's you have to be right up here. I mean, for any really race, right?
You're right.
Was that kind of like same way with you?
Yeah, like it was. It was just like all over the place, honestly.
Yeah, well, you kind of have to get into like a zone, you know, and you have to be the right zone.
Like there will be words in my head like "keep pushing" or "you got this." It's walls running too. Just a
And
lot.
things like that, I think, probably, you know, you've been in that zone, it's probably that a place like that where you kind of have to be. I'm guessing probably for the creative juices to start flowing. You know, kind of like when you paint.
Yeah.
Is it the same type of thing?
It's like that. Yeah. You got to get in the zone, focus.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the same way for people who, you know, create music. You know, same type thing when they write a song. I mean, I can't imagine that they just get up and go, okay, it's time to write. Let's go. You know, something has to strike. There has to be some sort of inspiration has to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
How does that work for you?
Sometimes I would have to be in a quiet. Like, wait, what are you talking about? Like
I'm talking about the what do you draw on? I mean, not physical. Where do you get the inspiration to create what you do?
I'm sorry, I keep saying It it depends.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
There are microphones here, and you know it's that kind of what we.
Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah.
So hey, it's
It
okay.
depends. I usually find inspirations on medias like Facebook or Instagram. It just really all depends.
I know see, I just did it. I just said so don't worry about it. now I'm going to be really conscious of it on my end. But I've interviewed a number of artists, of tribal artists, and artists in general, and I always ask that where do you find, what do you draw on to create your paintings or your art? And some of them tell me they use photos, either current or even historical, and some say they draw on stories they've been told by their elders, you know, their grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles, and some it just comes out of their head. Yeah, but that could be stuff they've read, and you know, we all have, you know, different experiences. I mean, you're a very young person, so see, I did again. So I've got a lot more experience, just world experience, to draw on than you do. But again, you've got this creativity inside you, and I think that's the one thing we were talking about. When we're kids, man, everyone's drawing, right?
Yeah, I was one of those kids.
Yeah, so was I. And you know, used to draw cars and cartoon characters. And somewhere along the line, the school system we're in forces us to conform. Or not, I say forces, but there's strongly encouraged that we conform and become more professional. And, you know, and that creativity, if you're not careful, that gets put on the back burner. That didn't happen to you, so you're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, I would say.
and I know that I hadn't really drawn anything in years until my daughter, who's 23 now, but when she was about 10, she broke her arm, and she had this big pink cast, and she wanted me to draw something on it, and she wanted this cartoon character she used to watch, I think on Nickelodeon at the time, this dog named Kipper. And I was like, oh man. So it took a good hour. I had to, you know, take a pic. I was like, and it came out pretty good. You'll be happy to know. But I hadn't done that. And before that, I hadn't really taken my time to draw something from, you know, a picture in probably 15, 20 years until my dad asked me to do that. But that's interesting about you know, that creative spark. We all have it. It's just that it's like muscles that you don't use. You know, if you don't use it, you know, like right now you've got great muscle memory, and you know, that's why I think it's important for people like yourself, especially younger people, to not lose that. You picking up when I'm laying down here?
Yeah.
I'm throwing out wisdom nuggets here.
It's okay.
Well, tell me more about your art and how you do it. Now, what do you use? What are the physical tools you use? You use paint and watercolor. What?
Well, it's for digital. I just have my tablet and a pen, but for paintings, yeah, canvas, acrylic paint. It's not. It's not a lot, honestly.
You dig on some acrylic or some oils?
Acrylic.
Why is
Mainly
that?
because I haven't been taught or wasn't much interested in like oil or pastel. I just like the acrylic and how pigmented it is on the like canvas and
I've
painting.
heard that from a lot of artists. Actually, I know that this one guy, he said oils, man. He said that they're hard to master.
They're
That's, I think,
messy.
yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
But he loves the color. He loves the
Yeah.
pop
Yeah.
that they give. He said, I use oils, but he goes, it's, man, I'm telling you, he said, it's the hardest, it was the hardest one for him to master. That's what he said. You ever do any watercolor?
Yes, but I don't like it because you can't fix your mistakes
Yeah.
because it's water. So you got to be like precise and
the
very
colors
concentrated.
And the colors are very muted.
Yeah, they are.
It's not, I mean,
Most of the time, yeah.
yeah. I've seen someone, I have a relative in New Mexico, and she posts stuff on social media all the time. And she draws incredible pictures and then uses the water color, but she will color things that are this big and with a tiny brush, and I'm like, how do you even?
Yeah.
I couldn't even come close, you know. But somehow she gets these really bright colors with watercolor, and it's amazing. So you mainly a tablet? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like Apple tablet. Yeah.
I'm guessing that's like a total. Very forgiving. I'm guessing you can just like erase stuff and go on.
Yeah, because I tend to like mess up or have things neat, so it's like not as messy. If I like were to do it on like paper, you just see a bunch of like scratches and eraser marks.
Yeah.
So digital art for me is just easy.
It's not messy.
Yeah.
Well, I asked about earlier, about inspiration, but let me say, do you paint or do you draw objects, or you think objects more, or people, or combination? Where does it come from?
It's combinations. I mainly draw people, but there'll be times I'll just draw random objects for like practice.
Random objects.
Yeah, it just depends. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
When he said people, what kind of people? I mean, tribal folk,
No.
white folk, black folk, Asian folk.
No, they're just like fantasy characters that I have in mind, like my own creations.
Where does that come from?
Like.
I mean, like, are we talking fantasy like dragons and stuff, or are we talking
like kind of like
Power Rangers?
no, kind of like anime, all that stuff.
Now, see, why didn't you say that to begin with? I know I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Although I'm not. That's not my bag, baby. I don't know. I don't really. I mean, I know what anime is, but I'm not. It's not my world.
Yeah.
That just reminded me. Did you go to Indigipop just a few months back?
No, but I heard of it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we were there shooting a story, and there's a lot of anime happening there.
Oh wow.
It's and there was what it is it's here in Oklahoma City, and I think this was the second year they've had it here, but I think the plan is to have it here every year. And it's basically an indigenous Comic-Con. So you have cartoon characters, and you have, like you said, anime, and then you have a lot of fantasy type stuff, and then you had it was really cool because you had a lot of native actors show up and sign autographs, and people from that were in Reservation Dogs, and people that have been in movies and things. Oh, is that something you do? Do you go to these conventions, Comic-Con stuff?
I try to, yeah, but since living way out there in the country, it's hard for me to even get out and go to these events.
Oh,
but
man.
they're fun. I like to.
Tell me about Hammon. Tell us about Hammon.
Small town. It's.
What do you love about Hammon?
I grew up there. Most of my families are from Hammon, actually, so I like to stay close around family. I try to be around my siblings and my little cousins. I like watching them grow and kind of like take pride in their achievements too.
That's one thing I forgot to ask you at the beginning. We introduced you, so where you're from, but here, and Indian folk, they want to know, people want to know, who are your people? So if you wouldn't mind, tell us who you are. Who your people are.
All right.
I mean, who your people are. Either, give us some names. People probably know your aunties and uncles and all that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna introduce myself again. I'm Madelynn Byrd. I was the former Cheyenne princess of 2020-2023. My parents are Byron and Michelle Byrd. I have one brother named Ethan Byrd, two sisters, Melena and Sharon Marie Byrd. My paternal grandparents are Terry Byrd and Jolene Orange. My maternal grandparents are Bill Weaselbear and Leatrice Gonzalez. My great paternal grandparents are the late Amos Beaver and the late Sharon Byrd. And my great grandparents, maternal great grandparents, are the late James High Chief Howlingwater and the late Marie Whiteman. Those are who are my folks.
Wow. See,
Yeah.
I was just thinking, do I know all that far back in my? I don't know. If you haven't figured it out, I'm not Cheyenne, and I'm not Arapaho. I'm too short to be either one.
Oh.
I'm Southwest size, No, I have some family in New Mexico, and then some, and I'm part Coach T, part Choctaw, and part Caucasian. I'm Caucasian. Hey, that one's for Hawk. So where were we? Okay, well,
Yeah.
you were telling me how much you love Hammon,
Yeah.
and well, so as you told me what was great, wonderful about it, what are some things, if you wouldn't mind, what's not great about Hammon? I'm kidding, and you don't have to go there.
It's just a small town.
It's far away.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's probably the only thing that's really wrong with it, right?
Yeah. There's nothing much out there other than just the casino out there.
Hey. Well, yeah, and I tell people all the time, in Western Oklahoma, in some instances, 100 miles feels like 400 miles, right?
Yeah.
Or at least 200.
Yeah.
But things happen slowly, and maybe it could be that maybe the tribes will get some more infrastructure out that way, but it's slow going, it's just, there's just a lot of, I think people don't realize that the CNA tribes cover or have serve probably about 10, 11 counties out on this side of Oklahoma, and that's a lot. I mean, some tribes have one, and they whine and cry around about that. I'm like, hey, we're serving 10, all the way out to Woodward. I don't want to hear any crying around out there. What do you plan? What are your plans with your art? Are you selling any right now?
Not right now, but right now I'm writing stories of my drawings and characters.
That sounds cool. Tell me about that. So what does that mean? So do you have are you creating a backstory for every one of your pieces?
Yeah, I want to. I have a lot of ideas and stories I want to tell, but I know it's going to be a slow process to get to where I want to be at. And yeah.
I know that you earlier talked about George Levi's stuff, and he does, and he does a lot of historical stuff. I think, well, I was going to say, I'd probably be safe to say mostly that's what he does, at least on ledger art. Do you see yourself doing that either now or in the future? Or again, you're a young person, but it could be that, over the years you will learn more and more stuff about the history of these tribes. And, do you see yourself going down that road?
Yeah, I want to get be out there to tell stories visually and presenting the story pictures, show pictures of the stories.
And why do you think that's important?
Because not many of our people know our story or know our history of where we came or how we're still here today. And I think people should know these things because in the long run, we're gonna like forget who we are or where we came from. Especially like these younger generation kids, they need to know these things, especially from their elders or people who know these stories. And yeah.
That's a great answer especially coming from someone who's 19. I'm serious, because that's what, the mission, our mission statement here at Cheyenne and Arapaho Productions is to preserve and promote the languages, cultures, and traditions of the Cheyenne and Arapaho people. And I say this all the time. I said, that's our mission statement. Now, do we hit that goal every day? I'd be lying if I thought that we did. But we try.
Yeah.
Every single day, we really try to hit that mark. And I think we hit it more often than we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be something as simple as, shooting video of, Indian Nations powwow or Red Moon or Barefoot. Or it could be something as simple as, covering the groundbreaking of a new building.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be something simple as, students, the high school graduation, stuff like that. Or, you were talking about history. We went to Fort Marion down in St. Augustine, Florida. We've been there twice and with the tribes to tell that story.
Mm-hmm.
And did a documentary recently about that. And that's a story that we didn't even know much about. And it wasn't until we were down there and we learned the story, and then we have to figure out how to tell the story through a documentary. And hopefully people who didn't know much can watch it and then learn some more and ask the people like their relatives who actually know more about it than we do. And so, yeah, it's about sharing knowledge. And here's another thing. I run into a lot of elders here who they know some language from way back in the day. Right over there, see? No, you saw me pointing. No, they have this. They think they'll say things like, "Well, I don't know much of my language," but you know what? They get around other elders. They go, "Oh, I remember that word," and then it's like you have 4 or 5 of them, and it just words start coming out. It's amazing, and they do end up remembering. So, same type thing here. You're like you were talking about younger folks. It could be quite possible that they only know bits and pieces, but not pizzas, but they only know little pizzas in the Hammon, right?
Yeah.
So they only may know little pieces here and there, but you get enough of them together, and if one of them knows something, then they're all gonna. Because kids pick up stuff really quickly, right?
Yeah,
right?
they do.
I guess you've done your share of babysitting out there. If you got,
many times.
So you tell me what you've learned from those kids.
I know the kids in Hammon area, they are, I don't even know how to describe them, honestly.
They're not, I thought you were going to say rugged there for a second.
Well, they're Hammon rugged.
Oh, so. The rugged nuggets in Hammon? Hey, I did say that. No, I'll attribute it to her. Hey, every Indian community has rugged nuggets, right?
Right. Yeah.
No, but I think it's cool that it's as a young person. Like I said, I keep calling you young, and to us you really are. It's cool that you see that, and you see the history timeline. People. We mentioned we were talking about Sand Creek earlier and Fort Marion, and we talk Ouachita, things like that. Oklahoma is a very young state, and the country itself is just 200, not even 250 years old, and people look at Sand Creek and things like that, and they'll say that's ancient history. I'm like, no, that's your grandma's grandma. That's it. That's just barely scratching their surface.
Right.
And so, I think the danger would be to think that it is ancient history and not realize that there's a thread that runs through everything. And let's just get all philosophical and profound here. The art that people like George Levi and BJ Stepp create. And I know I'm leaving names out here. Those are two you mentioned. We have so many fantastic artists here at the Tribes who do paint historical subjects and scenes. You know, that's part of telling the story. And now, guess what? You get to be a part of that.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Amazing.
Give me more than that. No, it's like, I mean, have you thought about it that way?
Yeah, I'd say. I'm sorry.
What are you sorry about? No, I mean, I'm throwing a lot at you. I understand that. But I just, I want to say, you know, art can be such a, it should never be looked at as something that's off to the side or something it's not a real job, you know, something like that. Because everyone has a job to do, and those people who are creative, first of all, what a boring world it would be if there were no creative folks. Right?
Very boring, I'd say.
It'd be all gray. There'd be no it'd be all shades of gray, you know, and no colors. So, you know, there are people like you and other artists that inject the color into this dark and drab palette that we have here in the world.
Yeah.
And so but I think it's important that you realize, probably, you know, you're probably going to get home now and go, no, what did he say? What does he talk about? No, I think it is cool that you know, at this young age you realize where it actually falls, you know, into this whole, like, this thread we're talking about, you know, and we're weaving something really cool here, weaving a really keen looking blanket out of all this, all these stories and stuff. Well, let me ask you, there's got to be something here today that I did not ask you that you wanted to talk about your art that I didn't ask.
Just like, how did you like know how I became an artist, or?
You're right. Yeah. How did that happen?
I think it was just a natural talent. Like, when I was younger, I would like draw stick figures, but when I draw stick figures, for some reason I always saw like shoes as like a cool thing to draw. So I would like draw a stick figure and then have him like wear like big boots or tennis shoes or those Skechers light up shoes. They were just really fun and creative to just draw. I think I would say I was around 5 or 6 or 7, around that age, drawing shoes like that. And I think ever since then I knew like I had a natural talent, and I know it was going to get better over time, which I'd say it did. Probably around 3rd grade, I started drawing like landmarks, like say trees, mountains, flowers, basically nature related stuff, and like draw that. Sorry. But yeah, I saw myself over the years progressing, drawing different things.
I know a lot of kids, you know, when they're young, they talk about being, you know, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a race car driver. Did you say, I want to be an artist?
Yeah, basically.
How old were you think when you started thinking that way?
Probably around the 2nd grade.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Now, is there a time between 2nd grade and the time you graduated that you thought, no, I don't want to be an artist?
No.
Really?
No.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know very many people who, you know, said they want to be, you know, a race car driver and then actually became one.
Yeah.
You know? Now, I say that's not right. I know I have plenty of friends who are school teachers who work in education, and that's what they wanted to do when they were very young. That is kind of, was there anything else that came along that you thought maybe you wanted to do?
Well, I was into like weather stuff, so I thought that was going to be my other goal, was to become like a meteorologist.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like a regular, like work behind the scenes, or out in front of the camera?
It was just mainly like storm chasing stuff, honestly. But
You saw Twister one too many times, didn't you?
yeah,
Oh, you're one of those people.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever go out storm tracing?
no.
Why
Well,
not?
well, not like professionally, but
Did you? I know you did. You tell me. You went out, right? Went out with your phone and your camera. Did you go draw some tornadoes?
yeah,
Have you ever
I'd
drawn
say-
tornadoes or painted
Yes,
them?
yes, I've drawn like
That's
sketched
awesome.
those. It's just scribbles.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Okay. So but it came back to you want to be an artist, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, and here we are, all these years later, and you still think that way.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool. I mean, because like I said, most people change, and most people they have aspirations or goals to be, be in some certain occupation, but then they don't follow through,
Mhm.
or they're scared.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's called a comfort zone for a reason,
Mhm.
because, and I'll tell you this, and I'm dropping out some more advice. Growth only happens outside your comfort zone. All you people. It's like, I mean, that's true. It's not until you step out
Mhm.
where you're like totally unsure, of what's going to happen, that's when the big things happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in your little, I'm right here. I'm staying right here. So where do you see going with this? I mean, what would be the coolest thing to happen to you with your art? I mean, let's, just go for the,
I don't
think big here. What do you want to do?
I don't exactly know, but I would like people to like see what I've created all these years, because I've been like planning this since obviously when I was younger, and I want just to be recognized by my art,
I mean, explain that, recognized. I mean, do you hope to be in a gallery somewhere, or is?
Well, I don't want to explain too much because it's not like it's like a secret project,
Ooh, it's a secret.
but
You can tell me. No, I'm kidding. Well, that's good to know.
yeah.
But it is, I think it is cool that it's something that you have been planning, and I hope that means that you've been working a lot at it,
Yeah,
because
of course.
our dreams and goals and stuff, they don't just happen. Man, look at me acting like an a really wise old man told me one time. Yeah, got to work on your dream. But it's I'm very sincere when I do say that growth really only happens outside your comfort zone. And what I meant to say earlier was that many of us, and I include myself in this, we want to do something, but the truth is, no one's gonna ever say, "Hey, Madelynn, I got a great idea. I'll take all your art and put it out for sale, and we'll make a bunch of money." No one's gonna do that for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to make that happen. And I was talking with someone I went to high school with just not too long ago, and I went to high school a long time ago. So we were talking about we were just two old dudes, getting all philosophical and whatnot. And I said, we were talking about regret. And I said, look, there are certainly things that I regret saying and doing over, my life. But the biggest regrets I have are things that I did not do or I did not say, I mean, like I didn't apply for that job, or I didn't go out for that team, whatever it was. I didn't ask that one girl out that one time. No, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't study for that test,
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Stuff like that. So think about that. as you laugh. Well, okay, we're going to wrap this up.
Okay.
But before we go, like I said, I want to thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Ha-ho.
Alright.
And yeah, I should, is there anything I missed?
No, not what can
Okay.
I think
Let
of.
me ask you this. Where can people find your art right now?
I like most of the time I have like an art account, but I don't want to say what. But most of the time I'll try and post them on Facebook.
How do they find that? Do they go to your page?
Yeah, or it just shows up on their
Is
page.
you- Are you on any other? Are you Instagram too?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. If you're interested, and why wouldn't you be? Check out Madelynn's work on Facebook and Instagram. Anywhere else?
No.
Coming to an art gallery near you sometime in the near future. Or the far future, we're not sure. Okay. Okay. Well, Madelynn, thank you so much for being here. That was a good time, right?
Thank you.
I told you don't be nervous. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Well, that's all we have for this particular episode. We will see you next time. Ha ho. Take care.